Hello, this is Camber. Welcome back to the Let's Play. In editing that footage just there, I realised that I've actually messed up this wheel a little bit. Well, I didn't mess it up, but I didn't quite finish it either. Actually, these are supposed to look like they're jagged, like they've got blades on them, you know? So let's sort that out now. Put it this way, I think. And then how are we going to get to the top? Let's just pillow up for now. Let's try again. Is that the right way around? I think it is. Let's take a look. Yep. That's a bit better. Well, it's much better actually. Have you ever seen grindstones use as spokes before? I haven't, and I'm proud of that. In fact, I'm proud of the whole thing. I did realise while I was building this, I used a lot of mossy blocks, and I used, to create the mossy stone and the mossy cobble, I used the moss block a lot, and it got me thinking that I'd really like a moss farm, and I actually designed one. I built it in creative mode. And it turns out that building a moss farm that's efficient is actually quite a difficult problem to solve. And I did build I built one, but it's very, very complicated. In fact, the redstone for it was so complicated that I used a boat to simplify it. To simplify the redstone, I used a boat. That is ridiculous. So I ended up looking for other solutions, and I found a solution on YouTube that's so incredibly elegant and so simple and has such a small footprint for what it does that I just had to use it. So it's by a user called Chapman, and I'll put a link in the description. I cut a lot of the building process out of that video there because it's because it's not my design, and also if you want to see it in detail you can see it in Chapman's video. It's a brilliant design though. One thing in particular that I really like about it is this simple on-off switch for a timed loop. So it uses an observer there, and essentially, you just turn it on and it powers this loop, and it's creating the moss up there. It's putting it all in here, which is wonderful. That's great. That's how it exists and works out of the box. But I did want to put my own little spin on it, and that is, wouldn't it be really cool if I was down here and I could shoot this thing and it would start spitting moss at me? I mean, it's not quite as practical, but I like to add a little bit of silliness and a bit of, something dynamic. So, that's the next part of this build is going to be how we're going to convert the firing of an arrow into it shooting some moss at us. Well, we know that the target block can do exactly this. But the problem with the target block is that the pulse it gives is very short. Probably not long enough for it to create very much moss. So what we actually want is a target block into a pulse extender. We want the pulse to go into this block here, because this is the block that the lever powers. So I'm going to put some redstone here. What we're going to do is we're going to use the pulse extender that Codecrafted built based on Etho's hopper clock, which we also used in the last episode because it's such a great design. There's a lot of elegant designs in this build that I'm just mangling. Well, designs that I consider elegant anyway. I don't know if they actually are. I'm not sure if I know enough about redstone to be able to say. But I really like how compact this is. So that's that. And then we place that on there. And we get another comparator, put it there to power, let's say, this block. Like that. Some more redstone. And a sticky piston. And then this will allow us to control exactly how long we want the pulse to last. So let's put 28 of these in there. Now I'm going to build down a little bit, and I'm going to try and place this target block a little bit lower. So I think I need all of these. I'd like it to be like close to the center of this, so probably around there. So let's place it there. I've wired up that target block to the pulse extender. Let's see if I can shoot it from down here. Awesome. So the only thing we have left is to replace this chest with a dispenser that's going to spit out the items. So I'm going to grab these first because I'll definitely be wanting to use some of this stuff later. Now, if we were to place some items in this dropper, you'll see that they don't automatically get spat out. And that's because it needs a pulse, a redstone pulse. And this pulse will need to be fast enough to keep up with the farm. And the quickest and easiest way of doing that is to just have two observers facing each other. So you'll see that's constantly emptying the dropper at quite a fast rate. But we don't want to leave it like that because that's just causing lag. So what would be good is if we could move one of the observers out of the way and put it in place when the farm is running. And this is actually quite easy to do because there just so happens to be this right here. So if we were to attach this observer to this slime block, I think this should do it. So when this slime moves forward, this redstone block moves here and will power this redstone, which will push this sticky piston out. Let's find out. Alright, here's the first full test of the functionality. As you can see, I've done some decorating. And yeah, this is my first moss island. And probably only moss island, just to give it the indication that it's used for the moss. And I've also done some decorating down here. This is where the moss lands. You know, I could have had it drop into hoppers and then directly into the barrels, but to be honest, there's no need to store in bulk if I can just get the stuff immediately. Also, if I wanted to get a large amount, then instead of firing the arrow at it, I could just pull the lever up here. I'll show you that now. Because the arrow, I think it does something like 10 seconds. I could always change, where is it? Somewhere around here. These. Change the amount of items in here if I'm, you know, not happy with the amount I get. But I think I will be. But yeah, if I want to have like a a permanent flow of moss, I just have to switch this on. I've put these signs here for mine notification, because I will forget how to do this. So yeah, I've just written myself some instructions there if it goes empty. But yeah, I should show you it running. That is a lot of fun, isn't it? I did notice that the items tend to fall into two streams, and I could have corrected that, but I just thought it looked more dynamic coming from two areas. Yeah, you just collect it from two areas. And then the barrels are here really just in case I only want like the moss and not the trees, and then I'll just throw the trees in and the carpet in there. But yeah, that's I really feel like that's kind of made this place a bit more dynamic, and that's what I want with these islands in general. Is I kind of want the impression of like ordered chaos, and I can tell that I'm achieving the chaos part, but I need to work a bit more on the ordered part, you know. I don't understand the mechanics of it, but for some reason, withers seem to spawn in this area more than any other. So I've knocked down the walls so I can see clearly there. I've created this track so that I can keep them spawning and despawning. And so far I've got one wither skull. I just need two more. There's two. Oh, look at these guys. Three. Awesome. Alright then, I've put some bits together and I've got some healing potions and strength potions, and I've made this netherite helmet, and I've been holding on to this enchanted golden apple forever now. So I've decided I'm going to fight the wither underground, and I know that there are ways to fight the wither where you can essentially force a win. And I'll probably do that at some point, but I'm not going to do that this time because I've never actually fought the wither on my own before. I've done it on an online server with other people. But yeah, I thought I'd come down here where the wither can't do any damage to anything important to me. Other than me. And maybe... yeah. I think I'll put them together in here. He went straight for me as well. Oh, man. Oh, I'm shaking. Don't you say it. Don't. You're thinking I didn't deserve that win. You think that I spent the first half of that fight just running away. And yeah, that's true. Yeah, but that was strategy. I was luring him into a false sense of security. That's what that was. And then at the end there, I just hid in the tunnel. And I hid in the tunnel and I threw ender pearls at myself. And I could see why it looked like that. You know, to the layman. But did you notice that when I did that, the wither took a huge amount of damage? What caused that? What was that? I'll tell you what that was. Mind bullets. Mind bullets is what that was. Anyway, in other news, I just spent an absolute lifetime collecting all of this iron. Oh man. I had iron was like the most abundant resource I had. And I thought I'd have more than enough, but I really didn't. So I had to collect a lot of iron. I think maybe the next step is to have like an easier way of getting iron. There you go. 2.5 stacks of iron just gone. Worth it. I've never actually had this like in my own world before. I think I said that, didn't I? I've never defeated a wither. And you know what? I don't think I remember hearing that sound. It's a good sound. What do we want? Speed, haste, resistance, jump boost, or strength? I think I want speed. Speed and regeneration? What's this? I don't know how this works. Oh, right. Cool. You can have speed and regeneration. Or... Wait, can I change this? Can I have speed? What is this? You can only... Right, so you'll always get regeneration. So I want speed and regeneration. That's what I want. Then we just throw in an iron ingot. Speed. I haven't got any regeneration. Do I need to put a second one in? I don't know what I'm doing. Sweet. Yeah, in all seriousness, the wither was way harder to kill than I expected it to be. Even to hurt, it was like it was just I just couldn't hurt him, and I took that enchanted apple as like an extra precautionary measure, but I needed it in the end. It ended up saving the day. That and a bunch of creepers, I guess, and a witch. I heard a potion being splashed, so I guess that helped as well. Oh my god, look at all this. It's full. I'm thinking I need to change this. Because what happens with this is that the only things I don't use really are the arrows and the string. And you can see that because that's all that's left in the bottom chests here. Right, first things first. Let's turn this thing off. So now I need to destroy these chests. This might cause a lot of lag. Oh yes. Now you might be thinking, did Camber just destroy 6 chests worth of loot? The answer is yes. Let me tell you something. Deep storage is heavily overrated, I think. I think I'm going to have 1 storage chest for each item in here. And everything else is going to be destroyed. So all the hoppers are now pointing right here. This is turning out to be a very expensive episode for iron. But it'll all be worth it. And this is a real mess now. I thought I'd just stop what I'm doing to briefly explain what I've built so far, in case you haven't seen an item filter before or an item sorter. So that spider just probably dropped some string, and it will come down here, and then along this row here, and beneath these hoppers are the hoppers that decide. Essentially, these are the hoppers that do the filtering. So what happens is, where's the string? So that spider's string would have added a 40-second item to this stack. And once there are 42 items, a signal is sent to this comparator that's strong enough to disable the redstone torch beneath it. And that will let that item through here. And so that's how you get a chest filled with, just the one item. And the other items here are just things to take up the space that aren't likely to be dropped by a mob, or should never be dropped by a mob. If it goes over all of these and doesn't end up in a filter, what happens is it ends up in that chest. So anything that I haven't considered for filtering will end up here. And then that's essentially a standard item sorter design. Where I've deviated from it is this row here. So what this does is, if an item chest has overflowed, what will happen is eventually its hopper will overflow as well. And once its hopper overflows, the items can't go in there, so they'll go forward and then eventually into this chest. So because the arrow chest there is full, the arrows have started going into here. So I'm going to replace this chest with something that destroys those items. But before I do that, I'm just going to address a lag issue that I've got here. So because of all these hoppers, what's happening is each one of them is searching for the area just above it and around it for items that have been dropped. And that creates lag. So it's not an issue if you've got one or two hoppers, but if you've got loads like this, it's going to cause lag. And a quick fix for that is to place an item like a composter on top of it, which causes it to only look inside the composter, which reduces the lag a lot. So if your hoppers don't need anything dropping on top of them, it's always best to place a composter on top of it to reduce lag. That seems to be working. Now hopefully if I remove some from here, if I put them back, brilliant. And the last thing I want to do for now is create a bunch of campfires. And we're going to put these on top of the onto the drop area here. So the height should kill most of them still. But for those that are wearing armor, this should do it. I don't know how much lag these particles are going to create. Didn't really think of that. We'll see how it goes. Alright, let's drop them. That overflow issue was something that was in the back of my mind for a while, because I knew that I was reaching the top of those chests. It's nice to have everything sorted naturally, and also destroyed if I have too many. And this can be extended in either direction. You know, I could add like a chest here for the the spider eyes. Or I could add chests below those if I want double storage, or I don't think I will though. But to really see the advantage of all of this, I think I need to tidy this mess up. But I'm afraid I don't have the time for that in this episode. I think I'll do that in the next one. If you enjoyed this one, then perhaps you'll tune in next time to see that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.